Hey guys, Arnav here from Coding Blocks. Happy to see you all again. Um, yeah, so have been thinking of making this video for quite some time now, and it's it's a culmination of quite a few thoughts that I've had over the years, especially whenever I teach people in classroom courses. I'm kind of missing that a lot because after working for the whole week, being able to go on the weekends and interacting with all of you guys who were in my Android web development classes, building projects together, all of that stuff. I'm really missing all of that a lot. Because of course the pandemic. But yeah, I think last few years, whenever in the classroom programs, people ask this a lot, भैया ये क्या steps होने चाहिए पढ़ने के कॉलेज में, क्या हमारे क्या प्लान होना चाहिए हमारा to especially for learning tech, because it can seem a little confusing because you start off with learning a programming language, and a lot of times you start off with learning a language like C++ or Java, right? And then you look at the end result, which is like you employed in a company where you are a software development engineer, you're working on some backend project, building an API, or doing some data science, curating some data, or making apps, making a website. So what's the what's the journey should be like, and it's not actually as easy as a lot of times you ask your seniors and they tell you that DSL go कर ले, कोड शेफ कर ले, कोड फोर्सेस कर ले, gigs work के सारे क्वेश्चन कर ले, and that's it. You'll get your jobs and everything. So that's what a lot of people say. But I mean, or you need to do those things, of course. But the thing is that the core question here being that how do you spend the 4 years in college. And so I know that a lot of people watching this video would not be in first year. They might be in their second year or in their third year, and you might not actually have 4 years left in your college. So for those people, don't think of it as a 4-year plan. Think of it as a 4 stage plan. So whatever I'm saying, first year mein aapko karna chahiye, think of it, you should do it in the first stage. You have to you have less time, so you have to compress all of the things together. So I'll give you like a 4-step plan. What are the things that you should do to grow as maybe a great Android developer, or as a great front end developer, or a data scientist, or whatever. Okay, so how do you get started? Because there are a lot of things, and when you go to college, I remember when I went to college for the first time, and the first week itself, I think the first month itself, there was some tech orientation done by a lot of tech societies, like IEEE was there, and they were doing some I don't know what was it called, Tech Week. Yeah, Tech Week, it's called Tech Week. So that's in DTU, of course, so people who are from DTU would be able to relate to that. So there's Tech Week, and in Tech Week there's like workshops, and there's workshops for stuff like I don't know, I mean, let me just try to jot them down. If I remember correctly, I think there was what there was one graphics workshop, okay, graphic design. There was some workshop on I think what Blender 3D, what's it called, AutoCAD, right? AutoCAD stuff. There was something on that. There was, of course, there was a web development workshop. There was a programming one, right? The programming one, of course, is where somebody was showing data structures and algorithms, and they were saying that this is really needed for getting your software jobs. And it was the WebB workshop. There was something on robotics. So robotics was like, to be honest, like when the initial introduction was given to us, it was just like copy a few scripts for Arduino and run some line follow or something. That was the picture that was painted to us. What else? Video. I think video editing was also there. There was something on video editing and all. So there was something around that path as well. And if I look back at the people who I knew in my college, my peers, my seniors, my juniors, and I see what they have done in their life right now. a lot of people have succeeded as great designers. We have Sid Bhaiya, we have Yash at Coding Blocks, and they're the ones who are preparing this, really nice graphics that we have on our social media, the website design for Coding Blocks, online.codingblocks.com, hacker blogs. You see really nice designs. So they're doing that, and like your certificates, and it's a lot of things. I think I have tried my hand out on Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator and try to make a logo or something. I've tried my hand out on those kind of things, and I know that it's not an easy thing, to visualize, like, we have an online learning portal, how the landing page should be like, how the course card should be like, and all of that. It's a vast field in itself. Similarly, like people who I found, like, in the initial days of my college, somebody interested in AutoCAD or something like that. There are a lot of people right now. I know friends of mine who have seriously taken up things like mechanical engineering. They're working at places like Honda, Maruti Suzuki, designing auto parts or components, and all of that. Web development, of course, like something I'm doing myself. I have been working on web development, Android development, all of these things. Um, the programming part, I think, coming to that, it's a basic need we all need for a lot of software and hardware jobs that are out there. There is robotics, and again, robotics, something, a friend of mine, he's based out of Gujarat, and they have recently made ventilators which are much cheaper than what a government of India is using, and they have been, they got a contract from the Rajasthan government and Gujarat government as well, and they are selling those ventilators. So they have a electronics and electrical items startup. They were making robotics kits and all. They stopped all of that, focused their time on making ventilators right now, and they have been on the news and all as well, right? And so video editing as well, but you see, like, there are such a wide variety of fields out there. And when you start learning things when you are in college, because you come from school, and there is a very set curriculum out there for you guys. You have to do PCM, and just mug up a lot of stuff, practice hundreds and hundreds of those MCQs for your AI triple it's JE mains or whatever it's called these days. And then here's a place for freedom. Okay, college is a place for freedom. That's the most important thing. Is that, and a lot of that freedom, of course, you can spend going out to malls and opening up a Tinder account and all of that stuff, and going out and eating out. Okay, but also it's a freedom of discovering yourself, what you're truly capable of, and the kind of way our education system is modeled in India. We don't really, become a person, create our career by just completing our curriculum. Okay, the curriculum is there, like it's on the side. You have to do your studies, you have to get through get your grades, you have to cover your whatever college majors, minors, external, blah blah blah, because you need a degree, because it still has some value. We will talk about whether college degrees have value or not in a future video, of course. So you do that, but you also have to grow yourself as a technical person, if that's what you want to do. I mean, you might be interested in giving CAD, going into MBA, or you might be interested in UPSC, because in India everybody becomes first an engineer and then they become something else. That's how the system works, right? So not everybody who is in an engineering college, and that's like a lot of the people who watch our YouTube channel is that. So that's why that's a big audience that I'm talking about. But I'm also talking about people doing, say, a BSc in computer science or a BCA or something. It's for everybody. Even after doing a graduation, you can be doing 20 other things. But if it's technical, and this technical domain also has so many things inside that. You can get into the electronics field, you can get into graphic design, 3D modeling, video editing, web development, Android development, data science, so many different things, right? So how do we go about it? And a lot of times I know people who come to me and say, Bhaiya, third year में है हम, फर्स्ट ईयर सेकंड ईयर वेस्ट हो गया. एंड लाइक कैसे वेस्ट हो, लाइक भैया पता नहीं बहुत सारी चीज़ें कर रहे थे, ये कर रहे थे, वो कर रहे थे, वो पसंद नहीं आया, ये नहीं पसंद आया, एंड नाउ आई फील लाइक आई रियली वांट टू मेक वेबसाइट्स. आई एम लाइक okay, fine, So I want to talk to all of you people who are in all of these kind of situations, right? So I think the first thing is stage one. Okay, so let's talk about this, which is stage one, right? So what do we do in stage one? Stage one is you explore. Okay, so this is really important. Okay, so and how do we explore things is there's something called the I think I'm forgetting the name for this the name of the curve, which is the Dunning-Kruger effect. No, so basically, like if you know map the amount of knowledge that you have about something, and if you map the confidence that you really know that thing, then what happens is like you pick up something and you start learning, and then your confidence and your interest in that field, all of these things, they start increasing. Okay, and they start increasing, and then you reach a point where after which you start learning more about that thing. And it's anything, it's you take data structures and algorithms, you take basic programming, you write your first line of code, you write your for loop, you write your arrays. It's looking interesting. Linked list, okay, hash maps, then graphs, trees come out, and then you get your difficult questions on code chef, and then suddenly this thing starts coming down. Your confidence and your interest in that thing comes down. Then you start realizing, यार ये मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता यार, मतलब ये बहुत ज़्यादा मेहनत है इसके अंदर, right? So you start out machine learning, and you import a NumPy library, and you know try to do basic regression. There is a function for that. You import TensorFlow, and you can detect objects. Okay, then you start realizing, okay, how do I derive algorithms like k-means, bayes, all of that from first principles. And then you're like, यार इसके लिए तो किताब पढ़ना पड़ेगा, मैथमेटिक्स आ गई इसके अंदर, ये सब तो नहीं करना था लाइफ में मेरे को, ठीक है. And that's when the interest and your confidence in that thing starts dropping. You feel like यार मेरे को कुछ आता तो है नहीं इस चीज़ के अंदर, मैं तो बस ऊपर ऊपर से देख रहा था इस चीज़ को. Real stuff needs a lot of patience, and that's what happens. And then you reach like a kind of a trough kind of a place, and then you keep on learning more about that. Okay, and as you kind of start learning more about that thing, then your interest keeps growing, and it will keep on increasing your knowledge and interest in that field. Now what happens is that I think this part where you reach this point, this if you think of it, I think it takes like around I don't know. It will depend on you. It will depend on the topic. But I think you will have to spend like say some 50 to 100 hours you will have to spend. Okay, so you spend 50 to 100 hours on this, and that's when you start getting to the real core stuff, the meaty stuff, where you have to put in your real effort, where learning is not that easy anymore. Because everything that you want to learn, the people who have made that say a framework or a language, they would have written a nice readme page which interests a lot of you guys. It might have nice little graphics and all. It might have a cartoon on it, like the Golang page. It's designed to interest the beginners. Okay, but then when you learn it really deep, okay, when you are like say taking an Arduino and importing a line follower script from somewhere, and it's following a line, that's great. But then when you actually have to detect obstacles in your path, and you have to write that code, and you have to compile that, and you have to flash it onto a Raspberry, and then one Raspberry Pi blows up, and then you have to buy another one. That's when this downward trend starts happening. Okay, and I think you reach a point where you have spent, I think some 500 to 1,000 hours, where you reach this point. I think you reach this point where you have spent in this particular topic, some say 500 to 1,000 hours you have spent. Okay, and I'd not say 500 to 1,000 hours. I would say maybe I'd take my words back there. I think you'll have to have spent say at least 250 hours kind of time you spent with that. And that's when you start uh, developing interest in that. Okay, when things again start working. Okay, when you have gone through that difficult little readme where you have to install 20 things on your computer, and one of them crashes your computer, so you have to reinstall your operating system. All of that happens, and then you finally things start working. That's when your interest starts, growing back up again. And I think you become like, fairly confident at the same level where you were here. I think it will take something around 1000 hours kind of time you would have spent, and that's when you start thinking, okay, I really understand this, I know this, I can explain this to a little junior of mine as well, and I really want to keep growing in this particular field, and I want to become like an expert in this particular field. Okay, and that will take like 1000 hours of effort. Now the thing is that this is the point where people give up. Okay, this is the point where people give up a lot. And the most important thing is, when you start off, you really have no idea what you will end up liking. You might end up liking web development, and you might like making websites. You might end up liking how to make apps. You might end up like being a data scientist, or whatever happens. Okay, you might what is your true calling in life, what is your purpose in life, what is something that truly interests you. It depends on a lot of things. Okay, and it takes a lot of exploration to get there. The first thing that you will try in your life will not be the thing that is going to define you. You will have to explore uh, you know 2 3 different fields at least. If you're lucky, you might find your true calling in the second or third field you explore. If you're not so lucky, maybe fifth or sixth thing that you're doing. Okay, the important part is like, you spend uh, 100 to 200 hours on that particular thing. Okay, and I think, speaking of it, 100 to 200 hours, I think you might be a little scared looking at that number. But if you think of it this way, like if you spend, say 5 hours every day trying to learn something, right? And then that means to get to 100, you would need what you need 20 days, right? uh, to get like to the point where, to 200, so in 20 days you would reach this point with everything. Okay, so if you have spent maybe 10 or 20 days with any new thing, uh, that's the point where everything feels exciting. Okay, and if you are in your first year of college or something, and you're trying out 5 different things, everything would be feeling exciting whenever you are, in this part of the curve, right? When you are in this part of the curve, uh, यू फील लाइक यार मैं तो लाइफ में ना एंड्रॉयड डेवलपर भी बनेगा, लाइफ में मैं लाइफ में डेटा साइंटिस्ट भी बनेगा, मैं रिसर्चर भी बनेगा, लाइफ में एमबीए भी कर लेगा, यूपीएससी भी कर लेगा, सब कर लेगा भाई, अपना सब करके दिखाएगा। ठीक है, सब कुछ अच्छा लगता है, सब कुछ आसान है, कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं है किसी चीज़ के अंदर। ठीक है, दैट्स व्हेन यू आर ऑन दैट ग्रोइंग कर्व फॉर anything. Okay, but you will have to spend, I think, I think when you are learning something, you end up actually spending maybe more than 5 hours as well. Sometimes you spend up 8 9 hours on something, and when you are like through with 3 4 weeks of something, that's when you start getting to this phase, and ये downward curve जब आने लगता है, right? तो यहाँ पे जो है अपने लाइफ में पूछना पड़ेगा कि there are going to be very few things in your life जिसमें you would want to experience that downward curve. Like I said, say what I see with machine learning, a lot of people happen is that they start off with it and they see some like coding blocks का एक दो webinars या tutorials है YouTube पे, and 1 घंटे के अंदर एक ट्विटर सेंटिमेंट एनालिसिस की बॉट बन गई है, या 1 घंटे के अंदर फेस डिटेक्ट करने का एक ऐप बन गया, और वो देख के बड़ा एक्साइटिंग लगता है। एंड फिर आप उसके पीछे एक हफ्ता लगाते हो और तब भी एक्साइटिंग लगता है. और फिर जब a few libraries don't install and then you have to get deep into the mathematics of it, that's where y- there is a voice inside you which tells you whether you want to deal with the hard part of learning that particular topic. And that answer is something that only you can give yourself, whether you want to be part of this journey where you will go down and you will come back up again. Do you want to be part of this journey or not, right? And जो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ है कि अपना फर्स्ट स्टेज जो है ना लाइफ में टेक्निकल लर्निंग में, तो विच आई टेल इफ पीपल हु आर स्टार्टिंग टू जस्ट एंटर कॉलेज, the very first year you need to explore at least 5-6 such things. Okay, आपको एटलीस्ट 5-6 चीज़ें ऐसे लेने पड़ेंगे जहाँ आप वो ऊपर जाने वाले कर्व को क्रॉस करके फिर जो नीचे जाने वाला पार्ट है वहाँ तक आप पहुँचो. वहाँ तक पहुँचने के बाद ही आपको आंसर मिलेगा कि आप सही में उस चीज़ को प्रेफर करते हो कि नहीं करते हो. सो दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू गेट टू दैट पार्ट ऑफ द कर्व वेर यू डिसाइड ओके this is something that I really want to do. And if you try 20 things, I think 15 things you will feel very exciting, because 15 things you will like that upwards curve in the beginning. And then out of that 15, maybe there would be only 3 or max 4 items where you would feel like this one I want to go through that curve as well. I want to keep learning it, and I want to fight and there are going to be very few, I think, domains where you'd be able to cross that that pit, that bottom, this part you'd be able to cross for very few things. जहाँ पे आपका let's say प्रोग्राम इंस्टॉल नहीं हो रहा या आपको समझ नहीं आ रहा एल्गोरिदम, तो आप you are staying up for at least 2-3 nights trying to figure out why it's not working. You're googling, you're asking seniors, you're going mad. Why am I not able to do this? I want to be able to do that. So that passion, you will find out that you have for only very few things, not for a lot of things. Okay, so reach that place, and then you will find out what you really like. And like I said, there are so many things in the beginning of your technical journey. Try out a little bit of electronics, try out creating some Arduino Raspberry projects, try out a little bit of web development, thoda sa HTML CSS, do it, and then try to make your own personal website. Try a little bit of Android or iOS development, try to make an app. Okay, any simple app, make a tic-tac-toe kind of game or something like that, and see do you like that. Okay, try out game development. Okay, try to make like a 2D game, okay, like a Mario kind of game, platformer game. Try doing that. Okay, and try your hand out a design. Download Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator. Okay, and try to make a painting, try to make a logo, try to think ki you want to make a personal website, what would that logo look like. Okay, try to design like a poster. Okay, and this is the stage where I think so sadly I think it's this time of 2020 where nothing really nice is happening. College में events वगैरह नहीं हो रहे हैं, and I know that. But yeah, the events that happen in your college, they are a nice what I can say, petri dish for exploring your talents. Do you like organizing events? Do you like making banners? Do you like making posters? Do you like creating the backend for the the quiz app that your event is going to use? Do you want to make the Android app for your college fest? That's the place where you can explore all of these things, right? So do that. That's this exploration part is very important, and find out what you really want, because I see so many people who come in their third year, in their fourth year, they've done their programming, they've done their DS algo, and they still don't know what they want to do after that. They know they have done till that because some seniors have told them to. They have an idea in your mind that हाँ job तो चाहिए, but they have like no clue how to get one. They have no clue what to do apart from just keeping on doing code forces problems, right? uh, they feel a bit lost. They ask me, yeah, Android karna chahiye, web karna chahiye, and I'm like, how can I give you that answer, because that depends on what you really like doing. If you end up being somebody who likes making websites and I force you into your Android course, you're not going to go anywhere, right? And if you're somebody who really likes mathematics and data science and all, and you force yourself into making websites, again, you're not going to be liking that. So exploring, and this exploring is something that nobody can help you, not coding blogs, not me, not any website, not any online tutorial, nothing can help you in this. I mean, a lot of online tutorials can help you get started with, but what is it that you like, nobody can help you in that. That's, you have to explore five things and then you will find one, and that's the basics. Okay, that's the explore phase. Okay, so if you look at, I was just discussing about, say, your four stage plan, right? So I think we can kind of say that, so stage one is explore. Okay, so, and from a engineering graduate kind of uh, point of view, I'd say ideally, if you're just starting your college, I think you can spend your entire first year doing this. There's no issue, nothing is waiting for you at the end of first year. Second year mein kuch nahi hai, right? You don't have to show the world anything that you have done in your first year. You can waste your entire first year exploring multiple things and finding out what you like. By waste, I don't mean, every day going to malls and parties and wasting, literally wasting your time. I just mean that, it's not like at the end of the first year you would feel like, abhi to time hi nahi bacha kuch explore karne ke liye, right? So first year is when you can do this, spend that doing that. But if you're not in your first year, if you have 3 years left, if you have 2 years left, just divide your time into 4 steps again. Take the first stage, explore. Okay, stage two, right? So what's in stage two? So we'll go to stage two, and at stage two level, I think that's where. So let's see what color can I do. Okay. So what should we do at stage two? So stage two is where you learn. Okay. Stage two is learn or grow, I would say. Okay. Now in stage one, you would have found out what is it that you really, really love. Okay. Stage two is to spend 100% of your time. Okay, and by 100% I really mean 100%. You spend 8 hours, 9 hours every day. That's the amount of time that you have to spend. Okay, you spend 100% of your time in that. Okay, like, see, it's a race and everybody's going ahead, right? You'd find people who have done the exploration and have found out something that they really love before college. There are people who might have started programming and making websites in their 8th grade, 9th grade, and they're like way ahead of you on the curve, right? And even like some people might have found out what they really love in 2 months of exploration, and they might have started their learn and grow stage much before you, right? So, and it's a rat race. The world is a rat race, right? So the better you are in your particular domain, the more you're going to be succeeding. So when you're in the learning phase, you have to really put in your 100%, and focus is very important. Okay, so I can tell you something. If you want to try, if you want to learn, okay, like learn from scratch, 2 3 very different things. Okay, you want to learn robotics, mobile development, data science, all three from scratch parallelly, it's not gonna happen. Okay, not gonna happen. I'm just telling you once again, it's just not gonna happen. When you're learning something new, you have to take out 25-30 hours in a week, and taking out 25-30 hours in a week, apart from your regular college classes and your attendance and your projects and blah blah blah, it's going to be difficult, because you will be spending 20-30 hours on your college stuff as well, right? If you are in a good college, good in the sense that a college that allows you a lot of time on yourself, like, because I really love DTU, because DTU gives us a lot of freedom to it does not give us that freedom on paper, but in practice it gives us a lot of freedom. We did not need to attend a lot of classes from our third year and fourth year especially. Anyway, that's beside the point. Whatever is your college, whatever time you can take out, it's up to you. Okay, and this is the time when you have to stop giving excuses like, I could not take out time to learn because I had exams or I had projects and etc and etc. Okay, all of that is excuses. Okay, if you really want to take out time, if you're in like second year of your college, you are at that age where you can play a little fast and loose with your health. You can spend days sleeping 2 hours, 3 hours rather than 8 hours. It's not a good advice. It affects your mental health and your physical health and all of that. But I'm just saying that, if you want to, totally burn yourself out, spending 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week learning something, this is the time when you can do it, and this is the time when you need to do it. Okay. So stage two is your learning and growing stage, and whatever is your, domain that you want to learn. So this is the time, like, you have found out that you have crossed this part, you are in this part. Okay. And you know that, the graph is now going up, it's not going to come down again. Okay. So once you have crossed, this part. Okay. At that point, you need to, do something which I call is do it the hard way. Okay. So do it the hard way. So what is do it the hard way? Okay. So if you go to something like, Google, or if you search, I don't know, if you search for uh, so uh, learn Python the hard way, learn Java the hard way. You'll find a lot of articles written about this process, what is doing the hard way. So what is doing the hard way means is, like, now you want to really learn this topic. And when you want to really learn this topic, you understand it from the depth. If you're learning how a language is, like, say you're trying to understand Java, you understand how the JVM works, how the bytecode works, how memory leaks happen, all of that stuff. If you're learning how electronics, okay, you delve into, how transistors work, you understand how microchips are flashed, how the ROM is flashed on a Raspberry Pi, how the circuits are made. You blow up at least 2 3 Raspberry Pis in that process. That's important, right? If, like, about graphic design you go, so you understand how the Gaussian blur filter works, or what are sprites, what are strokes, what is raster graphics, what is vector graphics. Whatever is your domain, you have to, go in deep. You need to, look up on the internet. You should find out the people who write blogs about that topic, follow them on Twitter, find out what they keep saying. And like I said, at the end of the day, this is a topic that you find out that you really love. And once you found out you really love, this is not going to be difficult. You would automatically find that drive from within yourself. You would find that passion and that energy from within yourself to do this. Okay. This is not going to be too difficult to do this. Okay. So that's what you need to do. Okay. You need to you know do it the hard way. That's the stage two. Okay. uh, and so let's say I go and write this down once again in my stage segment. So stage two is learn or grow. Okay. Now, what's stage three? Okay, once you have you first of all need to get a lot of confidence in this, whatever you're learning. Okay, you should feel yourself like, I'm the fucking best in the world in doing this. That's important. Okay. And you don't get to that stage easily. You uh, How do you get to that stage where you know for sure that, yeah, I am the best person who knows about this? Okay. You get to that level by doing some personal projects. You can do projects on design, on electronics, on coding. You can do projects on everything. Okay. Try to build something. Okay. Try to build something real, not some sample project that you see on the internet. Try to build something on your own. Right. Do that. Then try to teach some younger guy. You're in second year now. You can teach a first year guy. Okay, hey, you want to, learn web development? I have been doing it a little bit, so I can teach you the basics of it. Okay. Teach people. I can tell you, I co-founded Coding Blocks, and I have been teaching people for 4 years. I can tell you that there is no better way to improve your learning than teaching other people. That's the best way. Okay. I think I think every mentor here at Coding Blocks will tell you like the best thing that they feel about teaching is that it helps them grow, learn more. Okay, to that. Then stage three. Let's come to stage three. So what about stage three? What do we do in stage three? So in stage three is where you evaluate and gain experience. This and actually to gain experience you will need to evaluate yourself. Okay, this will happen automatically. What does that mean? If you are so of course it means internships when you are at the stage 3 of learning. And to get internship you will have to prove that you know something. Okay, and I don't mean the on-campus internships. So on-campus internships are bullshit. Okay, they are on-campus internships. You go there and you'll be going around the office like a peon and bringing chatting up with some employees during the lunch hours and all. It's good for networking, it's good for creating good contacts, it's good for getting a PPO. But on campus placements to big companies, they this is not the kind of experience I'm talking about. So if you have gotten an on-campus internship and you're going to be going for one, then you need to still go for an internship at a smaller company where you will do some real work aside from that. Okay, in addition to that. Okay, so how do you gain experience and how do you evaluate yourself? So by gaining experience, I mean pick up some non-personal projects. As in, if you're into electronics, say you might find some some of your seniors who are working on some startup which is making some drones. Talk to them that you want to work with them. Okay, if you're into app development, web development, try to find some internships at some small startups. Okay, uh, then you can look for freelance gigs if you are doing like designing. Create a profile on Upwork or Fiverr and say that for $5 you will design somebody's website. You will do that stuff. Okay, uh, yeah, that's basically experience. And how will you get to experience? That's by evaluating. Okay, so even if you are in like if you feel like competitive programming is something that you really like and you have done that in stage 1, stage 2 you have spent learning data structures algorithms to its highest depth. Stage 3, take part in code chef long challenges, take part in code chef challenges, code forces contests, move up your rank. Okay, get to that red level or pink level or whatever it's the color. I don't know, I am not a competitive programmer. It's usually top coder red kind of level that you have, right? So try to get to that level. Okay, so um, second, yeah. So yeah, get to that level where you can take some quizzes, some challenges. You can sit for some internship interviews. You can take up some client projects on freelance, and you can actually do them. Okay, and this is a confidence building stage. Okay, you have spent time learning something. The only thing that's remaining now is to convince yourself that you really know that. And how do you convince yourself that you really know that? You do that by gaining experience in that. You go for an internship. And I tell something to a lot of people, and I personally am a very big you know advocate against unpaid internships. So unpaid interns are a very bad thing. So anybody who does unpaid internships, like whoever companies which have unpaid internships, they are wrong. You should never do that. And if you're looking for internships, you should look for paid internships. Of course, they are better. But here's the but: this is a stage in your life where you can let yourself get exploited. Okay, you are in second year or third year in your college. There's no expectation from you to earn money to support your family. There may be some unfortunate people for whom there is. Okay, but mainstream. Okay, mostly you don't need to get a job right now. You don't need to earn actual money from the internship right now, because your parents are still maybe paying for your money, for your pocket money and all of that stuff, right? So uh, if you feel like there's a great opportunity and you will not make a lot of money, or somebody does not want you to work, okay, they say that you're too young, your skills are not up to the mark. If you feel like you can tell that person, hey, I would still work just for the experience and I will not take money. If there are opportunities like that, still pick them up. Okay, this is something I'm telling the students. Okay, this is something I'm telling people who are founders, who are companies who are taking internships. Again, my message here: unpaid internships are a sin. Okay, should never do that. You take people in to your company, they're doing work, they're producing work. It should be a paid internship. Doing internship for exposure, doing internship for experience, that's bullshit. Okay, and I really don't like that. But this is something I'm telling to students. Like sometimes you might, you know, I did my first internship where I, added features into the Android operating system. I did not make apps. I added features into the Android operating system. That's my first internship, and I think for the first month I was paid 15,000 for a month. For the second month I was paid 25,000 for a month. That same kind of work, if I have to get it done by somebody today, or if I do it today, I know it's worth probably 60, 70,000 or maybe 1 lakh a month. Okay, honestly, I did that for 15,000 and I don't regret that. Okay, I don't I think that guy or the startup could not even afford to pay me 1 lakh at that time. I did that job, I got some kind of a stipend, but I learned a great deal. I worked with big companies like Foxconn, was making a mobile. I was able to add code in the operating system for that. It was a phone that was released by Micromax, and there were 4 million of those phones sold. 4 million people use that phone. They were using a feature written by me. That's in second year, and that's a big deal. Okay, so I don't regret being paid a little less for that. That's what I'm saying. So this is a stage where you can let yourself be a little exploited. Okay, but for the sake of gaining experience, you won't be able to afford doing this at a later point in life. Okay, when you're out of college and you get a job worth 1 lakh and you get paid 50,000, that's not something you want, man. You don't want to gain experience by exploiting yourself after college. That's when you want to start earning a lot of money, and grow and make money, buy a flat, buy a car, marry, and whatever else. Okay, so if you can, you know, uh, maybe work at one of those small startups where you have to work 10 hours, 20 hours, in the week you have to work 60, 70 hours in the week, not sleep, take a metro, take a bus, go to their office every day, all of that hardship. The biggest thing is that pays off, that you're gaining invaluable experience at this stage. And this is the stage where you have to do it, because if you don't do it right now, then you will have to do it sometime later, and at that time there would be actual opportunity cost. Okay, right now there is no opportunity cost, so it's not so high, so that's when you should do it. So this is the stage where you evaluate yourself, gain experience. Another thing in this line is, go to hackathons. Okay, so go to hackathons, go to RoboWars if you are into electronics. Okay, make a freelancing portfolio on Fiverr or Upwork. Take some pro bono work. Pro bono work means you do a freelancing project for free. You say, I will design your logo for free. What is there to lose for that person? You design the logo. If they want to use it, they can. If they don't want to use it, they will not. Try to contribute to open source projects, and open source projects exist both in terms of software, they exist in terms of hardware as well. Okay, so do all of these things. This is the stage for doing that, stage 3, because this is the stage where you need to build your confidence, so that at the end of stage 3 is when you know you start building up your career. So stage 3, we have come to stage 3 here. Okay, so stage 3 is evaluate an experience. Okay, you might have heard about this joke, this meme, where you know a job, say the meme goes like this: how to get experience, get a job; how to get a job, get experience, right? So this is the stage where you break that cycle. Okay, you need to break the cycle now. You can get experience by doing free work, doing freelance work, doing personal projects, and that's what will help you get to your jobs in the next stage. Okay, now before we come to stage 4, you know this is what will happen between stage 3 and 4. This is very crucial. Whatever you have done till stage 3, this would define you. This would define the next 1 year, 2 years of you. This would define what you become in the short term. It will not define what you will become 20 years later, but it will define what you will become 1 year later. It will define how fast you will grow in the next 5 years. This will define how people know you in your early stages of your career. Okay, if you have done the explore part right and you found out something that you really like, if you have done the learn and grow part really right and you spent enough time learning and growing and really enhancing your skill, if you have spent stage 3 well and you have evaluated your skills and you have gained experience, you've gone to hackathons, built projects, and done some internships, then these people get all kinds of offers. They get great job offers, they get great MS admits. These are the ones who come up on newspapers with those 50-60 lakh job offers. These are the ones who reject those job offers, start their own companies. These are the ones who land up their CMU and Harvard, MIT admissions. Okay, and that's very important. So what happens out of stage 3 is you start working on career building. Okay, so especially in the 4 year setup in college, at the end of stage 3, when year 3 ends and year 4 begins, that's when your placement season happens. And I think the best thing that happened to me was I got a job offer on the first day of my college. Okay, and I did not want a job offer, and I did not take it up. I did not take that job offer. I got placement into Zomato. I did not join Zomato. It's funny. I joined Zomato 3 years later, same company, but I did not take up that offer now. That point, I had an offer from Facebook as well, Facebook Singapore. I did not want to go out of India at that point of time, but that's beside the point. The thing is, uh, you know, because the first day of college, I got a job offer, I got a placement. I did not have to care about, what do I tell my parents, what do I tell my friends. That mental anxiety that keeps building up, that everybody's placed, I'm not placed. That shit, that was not happening. Okay, so uh, I could spend like the 4th year, you know, uh, uh, I think doing everything that I wanted to do all this time. I wanted to start my own startup, and I got together with some of my friends and I tried it out. That's before coding blocks. It's a different startup. It did not work out. It was a joke. Okay, uh, we wasted our time, but I think I fulfilled my dream of starting out my first startup. Okay, I think I applied for a lot of competitions outside India. I started traveling outside India. I wanted to be a traveler and go outside India and look at the world. That started from there. I spent a lot of time traveling outside after that as well, but that's when it started. I went for a lot of conference talks, me giving talks in college. That was a big deal. And I applied for conferences to give talks about, and I got involved in a lot of open source projects. I wrote some of my own personal open source libraries that became famous. All of that stuff, I think I knew a lot of my friends, and you know I don't mean to say anything bad for them, but I saw them spending the first half of 4th year in a lot of anxiety because they were not getting job offers, not the good ones. They were getting 6 7 lakh 8 lakh job offers, but they were looking for, like, how can I crack that 15 20 lakh job offer. They were confused whether to study for CAT, whether to study for UPSC, and all of that stuff, because you don't get stage 1 2 3 right. You don't create a good platform for doing stage 4. And what stage 4? So I think stage 4 I really don't have a name for it. And like, what can I say? So stage 4 is, I think, chase your dreams. So stage 4 um, is important in such a way, and I can't emphasize this more. And I don't want this video to be too long, and I want it to be one hour only. So I just have 10 minutes. But a college is a unique place. Okay, it gives you this space where you don't have a lot of pressure. You don't have to earn money right now. You can do it after college ends. There's a safe space to explore. You can meet friends. You can sit in a lab, try to build some stuff. And while there are expectations from your parents to score a lot, score some marks, not get a back or whatever, but there aren't, like, life does not have expectations out of you. You don't have to be successful right now. You can just try out random stuff. And that's what college is very important for. College gives us a space to connect with people and try out stuff. Now, what holds us back is our fear that we will not become somebody in life. We will not get a job, or we I think we will not get a job is probably, that's it. I think for us in India, we don't think much about starting up our own company, or becoming a professor, or teaching something, or social cause, or whatever. I think we traditionally, every one of us, we are a poor country. We are poor people. Everybody is just thinking upwards mobility, how I can earn more money than my parents had earned, how I can be more successful than my parents had ever been successful, right? It's hard to think of a bigger picture, to think of being a social activist, to become a politician, or all of that stuff at this stage. But if you have done stage 1 to 3 right, and you get this confidence out of yourself, which I can tell out of my own experiences. When I landed that job offer in the first company that I sat for, and I really did not want to sit for placements. I held in my mind that I don't want to pick up a job, but still there is that fear somewhere, deep down in my mind, where if I never sit for placements and I don't get a job offer, how do I know that I did not get a job offer because I did not try, or I did not get a job offer because even if I tried, nobody would have even taken me. I'm worthless, right? Validation. आप फोटो डालते हो इंस्टाग्राम पे लाइक्स आते हैं, दैट्स वैलिडेशन. बट देयर इज ऑल्सो वैलिडेशन इन बिगर पार्ट इन लाइफ, लाइक हैव आई अराइव्ड, हैव आई रीच्ड, have I achieved something in life, and that validation is needed. Okay, that so getting that validation at like at the end of third year, when your placements are happening, if you do that, that's a great feeling. Like, everybody in my college, in my year at least, who got placed in the first 1 week or 2 weeks of college, they all became very, very successful in life, not because of the placement that they had. Like, I think of all the people who got their placements in the first week or two, I think very few of them actually joined the companies that they got placed in. And even fewer of them are even in those companies that they got placed in. I think everybody who joined Zomato, who got the Zomato placement with me, there are 5 other people with me, right? There is Aditi, who is at Google. There is Shubham, who is doing freelance work. Then he joined, I think, Hotstar or Gojek, I don't remember. Uh, you know, there was Garvit. He started his own startup. He has a startup making coffee, man, and he's working on another startup now. And like, all these people are very successful in their lives, and they are not successful because of that placement that they got in the first 1 week. They are successful because their mind became so free, because they did that. This they have spent this time exploring so many things, finding out what they love. Then they spend that time learning and growing. Then they spend that time gaining experience and evaluating themselves. And then they got some kind of a validation. Okay, whether they got an admit to a college, whether they got a job offer, whatever, you get that one validation. And at least for me, what was, I got to know that, okay, if I could crack a job offer in at the end of third year in my college, And I did that without going to Geeks for Geeks ever. I do not have an account on Hacker Earth or Hacker Rank or Interview Bit or any of these places. I did not have an account on. I did not try out a single DSLO question. I was like, I'll just go and sit and I will see what happens, because I was not interested in competitive programming much. I was interested in developing stuff, and I did not want like one placement interview to define what I want to be. I just thought that I will go and I will sit. I got the job, fortunately. Okay, and what that gave me was this freedom to think that, okay, if I could get this job offer now, I can get this job offer 5 years later as well. I can get this job offer 1 year later as well. I can try out something right now, and even if that does not work out, okay, even if that does not work out, I know for sure that I have this ability to get a job and work on a job. So it's not like, if I try something and it does not work, then I will have to go out on the streets and beg, right? That's important to reach. When you reach that, and if you do that at the end of third year, by the end of third year, if you have reached that, then I think the fourth year is a really important time when you can think of what you really want to be in life. Because I said that uh, what do I want to be really? Okay, so this is the question that you can answer at stage 4 if everything falls into place. uh, you might think, after reflecting on all of this, that I've grown so much in the tech world and all of that, but I really don't want to do that. I want to pursue UPSC and become an IAS officer and fix the shit that the country is in. Or you might think that I want to become a social worker and help the poor people, sorry, grow, whatever. Or you might feel like I want to, like, I think I figured out at the end of the fourth year, in fact, when Pratik Bhaiya came to me one day on his bicycle, and he's like, he came to my flat, he knocked, and I came out, and he's like, Arnav, there's this opportunity, there's this place, Coding Blocks, I teach there, and would you come, would you meet? Munna Bhaiya, who is one of the founders of PMC, went and met. He said that, would you want to join? And we will teach people. And I was like, yeah, I have been teaching people in college for the last 3-4 years, and I really like doing that. And if I can do that and also make some money, and I did not think of, we will grow, we will hire people, we will have like 2 floors, we will have 3 offices, we will have rooms. None of that. I did not know any of that, right? I think what I really thought was, um maybe I can, come back to a company like Zomato and give that interview again, or 10 different companies like Zomato, because if I could crack Zomato, I would crack another company like that. But can I spend the next 1 year or 2 years of my life trying this thing out? Because I know that if it does not work out, there is a fallback. So that's what stage 4 should be all about. You should be able to spend the last year of your college taking advantage of what your college provides you, this empty space to experiment stuff, these great people with whom you can build a team together and try something out. I would definitely say working for a small startup, or trying out a startup with your own friends, that would be a great experience. You should try doing that. Don't rely on jobs and all a lot, because see what happens to jobs. COVID has come, struck, a lot of people have been laid off, people don't have their jobs. An experience of working at a very early stage company or starting something on your own, either of those two things, I would say, can be a great experience. You might have some seniors who are trying out some company. They also don't know, they might not even have the money to pay you much, but you can try and join them and see what happens in your life, right? So I think, yeah, dreams. Stage 4 is dreams. So I hope that helped. And I think I am at almost the end of my time. I just have a timer running out there. I can see almost an hour is up. I think, yeah. So I hope, a path for tech learning utilizing your college years, and you get a 4 year and a 4 stage plan. I hope you are able to explore and learn and grow in that, gain some experience, and then chase your dreams, and be who you want to be. uh, Thanks for anybody who sat through 1 hour of my boring talk. Meet you sometime else with some other interesting topic. Okay.